Yeah, whatever. I'm not doing that game. We scrape through. We scrape through. Oh shit! It's a hearing. Oh,
The
we're in court.
district attorney's office takes a dim view of rape and murder in our city, Mr. Baran. Your defense contends you have diplomatic immunity, but the Russian consulate says you only have limited immunity.
My status protects me from prosecution of any crime committed in the course of my diplomatic mission. I met Miss Trevino in the capacity of a Russian media expert, as a diplomat.
Did you meet Rachel Trevino at the Parkview Regency?
She said she worked there, so we agreed to meet.
And instead you slept with her?
Yes, women are attracted to me, Miss Carmichael.
Not all of them.
Miss Carmichael is quite
Withdrawn.
good looking. She's quite pretty. I'm not gonna lie. Let's question the immunity.
So
first.
your immunity status is based on your acting as a diplomatic agent. But this is the first we've heard that you were meeting Rachel Trevino in that capacity.
She wanted to compare Russian business philosophy to American. She mentioned that aspect specifically to me.
Are you sure she didn't have something else in mind? Was Rachel investigating other aspects of your business, Mr. Baran?
No.
Hotel May stayed. No, she didn't. She took pictures of people and didn't specifically say Baron. Benson stated Rachel's blog contained evidence of other assault by Baron. I'm not sure about that one. Curtis stated that Baron was under indictment for wife. What? That is some evidence, but I want to say his guilt. 2 or 4. Let's try 4. Fuck.
Our detectives investigated Rachel's blog. She was
2,
gathering
yeah.
evidence that you were a sexual predator.
I'm not a lawyer, guys. Oh shit!
That was for my daughter, you bastard!
Bailiff, restrain that man. Order! Order!
Someone grab him! My baby, you murderer!
Oh, that meant to happen?
Judgment Day. Hero dad gets revenge. Taking care of business. Father does what court cannot. American justice. The headlines go on. The people love this guy.
Chavez Trevino. He killed the smug bastard who killed his daughter. Of course they love him.
How the hell did he get a gun into the courtroom?
This is gonna get
It's
messy
America.
quick.
Okay.
I say we charge him with voluntary manslaughter and let it go.
Abby?
You know what keeps me up at night? What if his aim was off? Just slightly. I wouldn't even be here to answer your question, Jack.
You're right. I'm not setting a precedent for street justice in our courtrooms, despite what the people think they want. Prove it was premeditated. Hit him with murder 1.
You got it, boss.
Oh, okay.
How does your client plead, Ms. Mullins?
Not guilty. Be advised, we're going to mount a diminished capacity defense. The defendant is a Gulf War vet who suffers from chronic post-traumatic stress disorder. We will show that Mr. Trevino was under extreme emotional distress at the time of the shooting and is therefore not eligible for murder 1.
Any issues, counselor?
Wow.
None, Your Honor. Defense has briefed us already. This doesn't change anything. We're moving ahead with murder 1. Focus on the premeditation.
Your first witness is Detective Benson. As an eyewitness, she will testify to the facts of the shooting and give the jury an unbiased picture of the killing. To help your case, focus on the pertinent details of the shooting and not the public outcry. Following your questions, the defense will then cross-examine and try to break down her story. Good luck. I don't know, I'm gonna fuck up, but okay.
Can you tell us definitively who shot Alexander Baran?
Without a doubt, the defendant, Chavez Trevino, shot him. I looked to see Mr. Trevino standing up with a smoking gun in his hand. Literally.
And can you identify him for the court?
Sitting right there. That's your shooter.
Is this effective testimony? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Yes? Watch the scale of justice meter to see whether the jury is siding with you or the defense. Perform well in court and the scales are tipping in your favor. perform poorly and the scales will favor the defense. Oh my, I'm not a lawyer. The further the scales are tipped in favor, the more likely the jury is to convict. It also gives you more power when it comes time to plea bargain. What exactly makes it effective? Detective Benson knows a great deal about handguns. Police officers never lied. If was an eyewitness to the murder, participated in the capture. She saw him, right?
Please let the record show the detective pointed at the defendant.
So let's do the gun.
Detective, how exactly did Mr. Trevino get a gun into the courtroom? Aren't there security measures?
We're still investigating how he breached security, but he claims he stuffed it into his jacket and simply walked through.
How difficult would it have been to get past security?
Mr. Trevino had to avoid metal detectors and checkpoints covering every entrance.
What would it take to get past all that security, Miss Benson?
Forethought, planning, and intelligence. Mr. Trevino had to keep his cool and his wits about him at all times.
What is Benson doing? Won't this testimony help the... Yes, it will, because they're trying to claim that he's on the post-traumatic stress and that it wasn't premeditated, you know, that he did it on a whim. We're trying to prove that it was premeditated to get him under murder 1. Get him for murder 1, whatever the fuck that means. Degree 1, or I don't know. What? Okay.
After the shooting, Mr. Trevino made a voluntary statement to you about why he shot Mr. Baran. True?
Yes.
What did he say?
He said Mr. Baran had to die. He said Mr. Baran was going to claim immunity, escape prosecution, and run back to Russia.
Okay.
What else did he say?
He said the courts were weak, powerless. He said the only justice he wanted was a death sentence.
So, his motive was less about avenging his daughter's murder and more about exacting the type of justice he wanted to see.
Objection.
Withdrawn.
Good job. Occasionally, a well-aimed jab at a defendant can score points with the jury, even though you have to endure
Is
it.
there any doubt as to the circumstances of the shooting, Detective?
None. Mr. Trevino shot the defendant in front of witnesses and admitted to the murder afterward. I wish every case was as simple.
Thank you, Detective. Your Honor, the people rest. No further questions for this witness.
For this testimony, the jury sides with the prosecution. Yes, you won by plus 20, of course. The jury likes your case a little bit. You're ahead by 20. Hopefully that's good enough. It's half time, Kappa. Christina Mullins is the defense attorney you are facing today. Your job is to object whenever she gets out of line. Here are 2 tricks she likes to use. She will disguise comments as questions, such as, are we really supposed to believe this lie? This is argumentative. The fuck? How am I supposed to know this thing? Argumentative, okay? When you ask a question, it's argumentative. She will also insult your witness by calling him a lowlife or a criminal. That's badgering, okay? Remember, badgering is a straight insult. Argumentative is when one casts doubt on the testimony disguised as a question. Okay.
Detective Benson, you testified that you saw the defendant, Chavez Trevino, shoot the victim.
No, I testified that I turned around and saw Mr. Trevino with a smoking gun in his hand, about a second after I heard the shots.
So you didn't actually see him do the shooting? Are we supposed to believe you're a relevant eyewitness?
Yes.
Objection.
Badgering is a straight insult. Argumentative.
Argumentative.
Sustained.
Yes!
Ms. Mullins, enough with the rhetoric.
Yes.
Immediately
Yeah,
after
boy.
the shooting, what did Mr. Trevino look like?
I don't follow you.
Was he composed? Calm?
I
He
can't
was
remember.
in possession of himself.
Wasn't he yelling out, "My baby, you murdered her"?
He said that, yes.
He was out of his mind with grief. He was coming apart at the seams, and you didn't see it? Really? I don't believe you.
He was upset.
See what he was out of his mind with grief. He was coming apart and the seams, and you didn't see it. Really, I don't believe you. Is that argumentative? I don't think so.
Is your heart so
Oh.
cold, Detective? Are you such a robot that you can't see another human in distress?
Objection.
Okay. Is that an insult? Straight up insult, your heart's so cold. Badgering.
Badgering.
Sustained.
Yeah.
The defense can save the dramatic storytelling for its own witness.
Let's try this one more time. Was my client, Chavez Trevino, visibly shaken and distressed following the shooting?
Yes.
Did he appear rational, calm?
No.
Was his behavior at that moment consistent with a person in severe emotional distress?
Yes.
So despite any forethought or planning he might have shown previously, the defendant was clearly in distress when he fired his weapon. True? True?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all for this witness, Your Honor.
You won by 5, so an aggregate 25 ahead. Okay. I'll take that.
I just got a message from Cormac. You know the gun we took off Chav Trevino?
Yeah?
It's a ballistics match to the one used in the preppy joggers murder.
The joggers? The 2 kids who got killed in the park? That was in the 90s.
It was 1998. Me and Lenny Briscoe caught the case, but we ran out of leads and were never able to close it. We got pulled off, actually, and burned the old man's ass pretty good.
Oh, tough break. But, well, then, how did Trevino get it?
Yeah, good question, Detective. This case has been on my mind since I got back. Then this falls in my lap. I feel like I owe it to Lenny.
Ray, any way I can help out, I'm in.
Thanks.
Now it's the defense turn to make the case. Christina Mullins is up to her old tricks. Here are 2 new objectives for you to learn. Oh my gosh. Hearsay is a valid objection when a witness quotes someone who is not in court or cannot testify to the truth of the repeated statement. Okay, if they're not in court, okay. Is when a witness testifies with no expertise to back it up, for example, testifying that medicals are no. Okay. And remember that sometimes knowing when not to object is just as important. The correct choice may be to withdraw your objection.
Mickey, in the weeks after your sister's murder, how did your dad act?
Crazy. My dad has PTSD again. It all came back. He needs different treatment.
Yeah, he's not a doctor. How does he know?
Objection.
Right? No expert knowledge.
Mickey Trevino is not a psychiatrist, Your Honor. He's not qualified to diagnose his father.
Sustained. Mr. Trevino, please limit your comments to what you saw.
Tell us the behavior you observed.
He couldn't control his temper. He would like yell when the phone rang or like if a dog was barking 2 miles away. I didn't know what to do. When Rachel was killed, I expected him to be really sad or depressed, but not, not angry.
And this behavior, had you ever seen it before?
No, but my sister did.
Oh, you can't quote your sister because the sister's
Objection.
dead. Hearsay.
Hearsay. Regrettably, the witness's sister is deceased and can't testify to the truth of this statement.
Sustained. The jury will disregard that last remark.
When?
After he got home from the Gulf War, 1991. Pop had his troubles with the law. A felony assault charge, some other bullshit, some other nonsense.
Wait. Felony assault, some other nonsense. Can we proceed? I don't know. Can we just try and object?
Objection.
And we can withdraw maybe. Withdraw our objection.
Withdrawn.
Did you think he would hurt anyone?
My uncle said he was getting dangerous.
Uncle said he was getting dangerous. That sounds like hearsay maybe?
Objection.
Because his uncle's not here.
Hearsay.
Sustained. If your uncle would like to testify, then by all means. However, you may not testify for him.
Do you think your father was in his right mind when he shot Alexander Baran?
No, When my sister got murdered, I tell you, it smashed something deep inside my dad. And the idea that this fat Russian bastard could walk away scot-free because of some technicality? My dad did the world a favor.
Thank you, Mickey. No further questions.
I won. Yeah. Okay. I'm 65 up ahead now. Surely I can't. It's all for me to lose, right? Your turn to with Mickey Trevino. See if you can make him admit he knew his father had a plan to kill Alexander Baran or try to obtain a weapon. Okay. Let's start with feelings of guilt.
Did you know Alexander Baran claimed he didn't kill your sister? Does that bother you?
No, I know he did it.
How?
You could just tell.
But now you can never know for sure. No one can. You didn't let a court decide. You didn't let a jury decide.
I decided, and my dad decided. We wanted justice.
That sounds like vengeance, not justice.
Sometimes they're two sides of the same coin, Mr. Cutter.
Oh, so we're flipping coins now?
Red herring don't allow to justify the killing. Understand? Well, that's supposed to be.
Did your father try to buy a gun a week before the attack?
Yeah, I guess.
Did you try to help sign for it?
Yeah, so what?
Your father was convicted of felony assault in 1992. He's not allowed to have a gun. Did you know about his conviction?
Nah, I didn't know nothing about that. Man's got a right to defend himself.
Actually, when he's a convicted felon, he doesn't.
I didn't know that. Well, okay. How did he get a gun?
Where did he get the gun he used in court?
I told the cops already. I don't know where he got the gun.
You sure you didn't help him?
I've never seen it before. I didn't even know he had one.
You sure you didn't help him get it? You are under oath, Mr. Trevino.
I did not help him. Pop smuggled it in under his jacket. I don't know how he made it past security, but he did.
Can we? Oh, there's metal detectors. Oh, what? Okay. Oh, shit.
Tell us about your sister, Rachel.
I didn't always agree with her politics, but Rachel was a good person. She was trying to make the world a better place. She had this blog for social justice or rainforest or something. I don't know. It's not my thing. She was writing about this guy Baran, about what he was doing to other women, lots of other women. This didn't happen by accident. He read what she wrote, he found her, and he killed her to shut her up. God only knows how many times he did this before. My dad put a stop to Alexander Baran permanently, for Rachel's sake.
Oh, I keep freaking doing red herrings. Oh,
How
God.
do you and your father feel about
fucking
Alexander
up.
Baran?
How do we feel? Are you freaking serious?
Easy, Mr. Trevino.
Sorry, Judge. We hate the man. Alexander Baran is the guy who killed my little sister. My pop said he didn't care what happened to him. He said he would gladly kill Baran so we could go to hell and kill him again. He's a fat cat with an army of lawyers ready to help him weasel out of everything he does. You know this guy. Every day you read about him. Oh, he loves to do the crime, but he does not do the time. Nope, not these boys.
Did you ever hear your father threaten to kill Baran?
Hurt? Yes. Kill? No.
Did he not? He said he would go to hell and kill him again. He didn't care what happened to him. He said he would gladly kill Baran. Said he hated Baran. Gladly kill Baran.
That's not true. You just told us your father said he'd like to, quote, kill Baran and go to hell so he could kill him again.
That was like just a figure of speech.
Or the truth. Why didn't you get help for your dad?
He seemed rational.
So he was in control? Enough so that you weren't worried?
Yeah, I wasn't worried.
So where's the PTSD?
I guess I didn't see it then.
So maybe he didn't have it.
That's not what I meant. He did.
So why didn't you get him help? Either you saw he was out of control and you did nothing, or you saw nothing.
Hey, there was no way to know what my dad was gonna do. He was crazy. How could I possibly have known it would come to this?
Could he have known? Wait. I remember saying something about a gun in a jacket, right? I don't know where he got the gun. Pop smuggled it under his jacket. I don't know how he made it past security. And here he said, there's no way I know what Dad's going to do. He knew about the gun. He said his dad didn't have. He said he knew his father tried to buy a gun and he wanted for. He said that would get. Oh my god, which one of this? He said his father tried to buy a gun and he wanted to kill. I guess that's one, right? Yeah.
He already had a felony assault in his past, he tried to illegally buy a gun, and he told you he wanted Baran dead. If that was my old man, I'd have been a little worried. You want us to believe your dad just snapped. You say he hated Alexander Baran, knew in his heart Baran was guilty. He tried to buy a gun but couldn't, so he found one some other way. Then he smuggled it through security, stayed cool until he had a fair shot, and fired an accurate pattern right into his intended victim. Now, Mickey, does that really sound like someone who just suddenly snapped?
Objection!
Withdrawn.
None of this would have happened if people acted right. Rachel writes a nasty blog and this guy Baran kills her. My dad's going out of his mind and his doctor goes on frickin' vacation. Vacation, can you imagine? It ain't right. Everybody fails us, and we gotta suffer for it.
No further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Well, we lost by 10. It's okay. It's still ahead. I don't know how to do the closing speech. There's some closing speech. The defense is going to introduce some new tricks. So it's time to brush up on your objections and then learn a new one. You remember here says when the witness repeats something further, and yes, I remember also no expect. Yep, means the witness is. Yep. Here's a new one. Speculation is when a witness speculates about what might have happened hypothetically.
Mr.
Okay.
Trevino, why did you shoot Alexander Baran?
He murdered my daughter. He was gonna go free. He was going to walk.
That you won't say. Why would you object to that? It's speculation. Would you object to that?
Objection.
Speculation.
The witness can't know whether Mr. Baran was guilty or whether he would have gone free because he stopped the trial dead.
Sustain.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about Alexander Baran's diplomatic immunity?
Hey, I'm not a lawyer, but I know what that means. He just gets to skate. The law says he can run off to Russia.
The law says he can run off to Russia. Oh, that's
Objection.
he's not a lawyer.
Witness stated he wasn't a lawyer. The diplomatic immunity rules are actually very complex, Your Honor. Alexander Baran's status was still under review even at the time of the trial.
Sustain.
He wasn't diplomatic. He
Trevino,
was
can you
limited.
take us back to 1991 and your experience after the Gulf War?
Yeah, I was a ranger in Iraq. I saw a lot of stuff. When I got back home, I had some trouble settling in.
What kind of trouble?
I was never a violent guy before, but suddenly anything could set me off. I fought all the time. I couldn't sleep. My wife divorced me. I wanted to die.
How's that any of the objection though? Right?
Objection.
Oh, what did I know?
Objection withdrawn.
And what did the Army say?
The doctors said I had PTSD. They said it interfered with my ability to regulate my emotions. So I joined a therapy group. I took meds for a while for the depression, got myself back together.
What might have happened if you hadn't had therapy?
I don't know. Maybe gone crazy, maybe hurt somebody. I might have snapped, like I did that day in court.
That's
Objection.
It's either no knowledge or speculation.
Calls for speculation. Defense is asking the witness to relate an imaginary scenario.
Sustained. Let's focus on reality, Miss Mullins.
But you got yourself back together. You lived a normal life. So what happened recently to bring it all back?
Rachel.
Your daughter was tragically murdered, and the main suspect appeared to you to have diplomatic immunity.
Appear to. Do we object or not? I mean, we're quite far ahead,
Objection.
right? No expect knowledge. Speculation. Appear to have. We didn't know at that time.
No expert knowledge.
Overruled. Defense is well within its rights to use
Oh, okay.
words like suspect and appears in relation to the victim.
Oops.
She was my beautiful baby girl. He had no right. How could this happen in the 21st century in America? An innocent girl gets killed, the cops pin the blame on this scumbag, and still...
He might walk away.
As a man, as a father, I couldn't let that happen. She looked to me to protect her. All her life, I was a daddy, right? And I failed. And you failed. You didn't protect her when she needed it most. What use is all your legal garbage if you can't put a killer behind bars? So, as a father, it was up to me to put that wrong to right. Because no one else was gonna. Now my baby girl can rest with some kind of dignity.
So it's premeditated, then, no?
Mr. Trevino, and sorry for your loss.
Mr. Cutter, your witness.
Defense requests a short recess, Your Honor. We wish to confer with the people about a plea deal.
Well, make it quick. We're all on pins and needles.
Yeah, I'm so far ahead. Yeah, maybe I should be a lawyer now then. I'm prosecutor Pack.
Mike, Abby, let's not let a
Prosecutor
grieving
prick.
father go to jail for the rest of his life. Can we talk deal?
Depends. What are you offering, Christina?
1 year in county plus probation. You give us the time. He doesn't belong in jail.
You're kidding, right? He's a killer. I got the bloodstains on my jacket to prove it.
Here's our counteroffer.
If the scales of justice shows that you perform extremely well in court, you might try for the maximum sentence of murder to 25 years. If you're less confident, however, consider a lesser charge that both you and defense feel appropriate. I mean, I feel for the guy, I know, but you can't do that, right? You can't do that. When the scale of justice doesn't favor you, the defense is likely to reject your offer. Click on the transcript to view the legal definition of murder versus manslaughter. Look at that, I'm all the way to the fucking end. That surely isn't good enough, right? Fuck it, 25
Murder
years.
to 25 years, but with the possibility of parole at 15. If you're the good person you say you are, then it shouldn't be a problem.
I guess we'll take our chances in court then. Thanks for the chat, counselor.
Because then at least, if it needs to be in check. Well, yeah, this is it, you fought long and hard, alright guys. Time to get your conviction. Avoid testimonies about Trevino's mental states or his feelings towards Baron. This will confuse the jury. Focus on premeditation. Shooting Baron's daughter? What the fuck is that?
What was your intent when you brought the gun into your daughter's murder trial?
I don't know. I don't know.
Answer the question, Mr. Trevino. What was your intent?
To kill him, I guess.
You say you had the intent to kill Baran. When did you decide you wanted to kill him?
I didn't really. I don't know. It was a feeling. You gotta understand.
Was it when you tried to buy a gun?
I didn't try to buy a gun. It wasn't premeditated like that.
No. Chav's anger proves escape a lie. Make it admit to court that Chav, his son, tried to buy a gun.
We already presented evidence that you did try to buy a gun, several weeks before the killing.
I don't know. That morning, I guess.
In the hours in between that morning, when you decided to kill Mr. Baran, and that afternoon when you did it, what did you do?
Nothing. I prepared, I guess.
He used the word
You
prepared.
prepared? You didn't call anyone for help or talk to anyone?
Oh, yeah, I called my doctor. I tried to act responsibly, so I called him. He said, don't worry about it.
I called my doctor. I tried to ask. Oh my God. The doctor was on holiday. The son said the doctor was on holiday. I told you, doctor was on vacation. Mickey told the court chaps, asked him to stick a gun into court. Benson told. Oh, shit. Who was it? My dad's going out of his mind and his doctor goes on freaking vacation, see?
Your son already told us your doctor was on vacation. Nice try, Mr. Trevino. The VA has a hotline for PTSD, correct?
Yeah.
But you didn't call them for help, because by then you had already decided to kill Baran, and you systematically followed through on your plan, didn't you?
I was insane.
You were angry. There's a huge difference.
Objection!
You were hit by 100. Easy. Landslide. Wrapping up time.
Chav Trevino did shoot Alexander Baran. It's true. But the important question is why? Under our laws, the charge of murder may be reduced in the event of extreme emotional distress. His pride and joy. His daughter Rachel ripped away from him forever by a rapist and a murderer who then tried to claim diplomatic immunity and run away instead of accepting his punishment like a man. It was too much. Extreme emotional distress. Chavez Trevino only did what many of us fantasize we would do in his place. Was it right? No. He knows it wasn't right. But at the time, when he acted, right and wrong were drowned out by a raging storm of flashbacks, stress, and injustice. With therapy, he can heal again. Give him that chance. Look into your hearts, and ask yourself if Chav Trevino is a cold-blooded murderer like Alexander Baran, or just a brave and broken father, doing the only thing that made sense.
This is your chance to appeal directly to the jury, make your case to them, pick topics you feel will strengthen your argument, and avoid the ones you feel will incite sympathy for Chav Trevino, or make you look like a bully. Oh shit, I don't know, man. It will probably make me look like a bully. Nope. One of these two, right?
I think the defense would like to confuse you about what is extreme emotional distress and what is a father's natural grief over his daughter's unfair death, to set a precedent that every grieving father has the right to gun down the suspected killer is a very, very dangerous one indeed. We agree that within these walls, we must respect due process. We respect the law, no matter how we might personally feel about the defendants before us. Chavez Trevino didn't see it that way. He thought this was just a room, a place where he could barge in and draw a weapon and fire with no regard. Chav Trevino said, "The hell with justice. I want revenge." Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the people have shown you the evidence that Chavez Trevino's acts were premeditated. Not a burst of impulse, not a symptom of his PTSD. Mr. Trevino killed a man in cold blood.
For this as the prosecution, you won by 40. Overall, the jury seems convinced by your case. You're ahead by 100.
Have you reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
And how do you find?
We find the defendant, Chavez Trevino, guilty of murder in the first degree.
Yeah.
We thank you for your service. Defendant is remanded into custody until sentencing.
Mike! Abby!
The headlines aren't pretty, are they, Jack?
I'll take this one on the chin. The only way to wield the power of this office responsibly is through the equal and just application of the law. We don't get to bend the rules. That just leads to chaos.
Yeah.
Oh, and good job.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, boss.
Ray, thought you'd be out having a drink.
Nah, I'm going through some old files on the Preppy case.
Trying to tie the gun to Trevino?
And coming up cold. I wish Lenny was still around. He was good at this kind of thing.
Well, this ought to cheer you up. Turns out Mickey Trevino is an HVAC contractor for the city.
Okay.
Guess where he did a midnight repair 24 hours before the Alexander Baran trial?
Superior Court. He snuck the gun into an air duct.
Shall we go have a word with him?
Oh shit. Interesting. So the son played a part as well. Okay. Episode 1 was good. I mean, this game is totally different than most other Telltale games. There's interactions, but it's more like vocals and questionings and obviously the court cases. Whereas most of the other interactions are more like Q2E events, Q2Es, which are quick time events where you rely on your reflexes and stuff like that. And also there are some questions and stuff like that. It's a different type of game, but I really like this game. It seems it's quite fun. It's enjoyable. Obviously, I don't have any lore background or anything like that, so I would assume that later down the lines I may struggle with the court cases. Hopefully it's a bit trivial or relatively easy, so to speak. But we'll see. We'll see what the future episodes entails. But for now, I'm gonna call it a day with this first episode. I'll probably resume playing it later next week, because I will need to upload this on YouTube and possibly on Twitch as well. And yeah, I do plan on finishing this game, but it does seem kind of good. Like I said, I don't know if this follows a TV series, if the characters are from the TV series or not. So I could do some Google, or if anyone would like to drop some comments down below to tell me whether it is or not. I've never watched the only lore related TV series I've kind of watched is Suits, which I'm on the current season right now, and I'm so hyped up about that. I mean, it's kind of weird. There's just in case anyone hasn't watched it yet or not caught up yet, I won't spoil it for you too much. There's certain actors and actresses not in the current season. I don't know if it's the final season or not, but in the current season, the latest season, it's a bit weird not seeing them. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, I mean, this game is really, it's enjoyable. It's pleasant. I thought it was gonna be much tougher. I thought I'd be moving around, and like the scanning thing was a bit wasn't what I quite expected. But maybe this game came out before The Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us. That's why, instead of walking around to inspect stuff, it's just literally moved to the side to change the camera angles and whatnot. But it seems fine. I'm not complaining. It's a bit simpler, but it's fine. It's fine. I like it. So if you like this video, please anticipate for the next one. I'll try and drop it out next week for you guys. So thanks for watching. See ya. Bye.